Hello, everybody. I'm Robin, and these are my reflections. Today, I wanted to I'm doing some viewer requests, and there are quite a few that I had on my list, and I lost the list. So I know this one was one. I can't remember who requested it, but here it is. So this is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. In the smaller box. Now, there are 1,000 reviews out there of the bigger one. I will link two below that I think are fabulous. I know that Dustin at Modern Metaphysique is has a good one on the guidebook that comes with the bigger deck, as well as there is another person whose name I can't recall right now, who does, I think he does fabulous reviews. He doesn't do reviews too much anymore, but he does have a good one on this one, and I will link his channel below as well, so that you can go down the rabbit hole of the reviews of the decks that he has, because I think he does a great job. This deck, this deck came in this sort of, it was, the other deck comes in the big, kit box. This one came in one of these. I don't like these boxes at all, but it came in one of these hard boxes with the little top. This thing is always coming off. It's not tight at all. I don't like this box, but the boxes are not the most important thing to me. So, that is what it is. It is pretty though. It has silver lettering. It's a very pretty box. And when it's sitting on the shelf like this, it's pretty. But what I want to do, because I lay my decks down like this, I want to sit it with this out. But if I sit it with this out and then I go to grab it, the top comes off. So that's why I don't like this box. um, this is a Los Scarabeo deck in their newer cardstock. So the cardstock on these is a little bit bigger and a little bit thicker than a normal Los Scarabeo deck. So this is a typical tarot deck. They are the same size as a typical tarot deck, but older Los Scarabeo decks that come in the tuck boxes. Give me 1 second. Let me find one. Okay, this is the Casanova Tarot. I won't show the cards because it's risque, but this is the, oh, we can't show that one. We'll show the back. We'll show the back. Is the back safe? Okay, the back is safe. So they're the same height, but a little bit more narrow. So if you have one of these tuck box Los Scarabeo decks, just be aware that these are a little, the tuck box ones are narrower and these are a little wider. Also, the decks come in a little thicker. So if you have small hands like me, something like that might matter to you. So let me just show you. So here are the cards. And this is the title card, but I'm going to leave it on there so we don't get any boobies in here. So you can see that they are thicker because they have this coating on them that these cards have a coating that these cards don't have. So it makes them thicker. Also, these are glossy and very slippy, while these have more of a, I mean, they aren't matte. They are matte, but they're not like a perfect matte. I don't know. I like this cardstock. This is probably most of my decks. I would say the biggest collection I have from one publisher is probably Los Scarabeo. And so this is a cardstock that I'm used to and I enjoy. It's easy for me to shuffle. They're a little bit smaller so my hands can handle them. I like the weight of them in my hands. This is my first deck from Los Scarabeo with this newer cardstock, and I actually purchased this deck on sale at Llewellyn for half price because I didn't want to buy it and then not be able to use it. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to shuffle it because I'd heard that it was super hard to shuffle. But now, like I said, I have small hands. I cannot shuffle it like this because they're stiff. And so trying to bend them, I can't get my hands around them enough to give them a good bend, but I can, because they're so slippy, shuffle them like this waterfall kind of shuffle, pretty good. And they slip right together, no problem. I don't have to like try to work them together or anything like that. So I get a pretty good shuffle on them when I'm shuffling them this way. So I do enjoy, that's kind of how I work with them. Okay. Now the deck is beautiful. It's a RWS pretty much clone. There are all of these little, I don't know what these are on the bottom. And to be honest, it doesn't say in the guidebook. And I don't know if it says in the big one. I can't comment on the big one because I don't have it. Like I said, I'll link a video below. But look at this. I think that these cards are stunner. But they're pretty, but the writing on the bottom I mean, if you're going to put it there, at least give us some sort of idea of what it is. Now, some of it I recognize now because I've been studying astrology this year. So I recognize some of these as like planetary symbols, some of these as astrological symbols. I know that these triangle shapes are the alchemical symbols for the elements. But some of these, I don't know what this is. Like, what are these arrows here? And what is that? Like, I don't know what nothing over here is except for this Aquarius symbol. And there's nothing in the guidebook to tell me. There's not even there's not even like a template in the guidebook that says like, if you look here, you'll find planetary symbols. If you look here, you'll find elemental symbols. And this is the name. And this is, it doesn't say that. So I can't even look up. Like if it said here, you'll find planetary symbols, then I could go to Google and look up planetary symbols and maybe compare. But it doesn't even say that. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Um, but like I said, because I've been studying astrology this year, I have started to pick up on what some of these symbols are. Now, if had I not been studying astrology this year, I may never have known what these symbols were. And that would have been fine because this reads like a RWS with no problem. And I just ignore these little symbols on the bottom because they are very small and they're not that easy to see, to be honest. I have I wear glasses and these are a little bit hard to see. I have to kind of like really focus in on them. They're very tiny. So it's easy to ignore. But that is my review of what's on the cards. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to pop them back in order for you and we'll do a musical flip through so that you can see all of the cards in their order and what they look like there. Okay, so I wanted to quickly say when I was putting them in order, I remembered that justice is at 11 and strength is at 8. And so if you're an RWS reader, the court cards are princess, knight, queen, king, and they are supposed to have like a mix of Thoth and RWS. And I see some elements of Thoth, but mostly they look RWS to me. But then again, I'm not a Thoth reader, so I'm not sure if there's more in there that I'm missing. I think maybe you could like transpose the king and knight if you wanted to, because there's a princess instead of a page. So I don't know. I don't know anything about Thoth, but just be aware of that. And so here we go. So I think these cards are stunning, and they're just sort of, I don't know. I feel like they bring the RWS into this sort of 3D movie scape, which I enjoy. And when I'm looking for something without a whole bunch of color, but not completely black and white, I like these because they are colorful. I mean, they have color, but they're not colorful. And I like that. They do tend to be a little dark for my eyes. The contrast is very misty. Sometimes it's hard for me to see them if I'm not reading in a brighter light to see the details. I can see the overall image, but little details like this castle in the background, these boats in this water, those are difficult for me to see sometimes because it's so misty and my eyes are not the best. However, I'm still able to enjoy the beautiful artwork. I wish there was some diversity, but there's not. So there's that. Not one little bit of diversity in these cards. Um, and let me see. As far as like I said, the image, the Thoth and the symbols, for a long time, well, not for a long time, because I just got this deck last year. Like it was a sale, I want to say the middle of the year or something, I picked it up. So I haven't had it for as long as it's been out. But for whenever, however long I've had it, I used it without knowing a bunch of the symbols on the bottom, and I didn't know, and it didn't matter to me. Now I know them, and I'm still not really caring, to be honest. So I don't think that it's that important. But if I wanted to know it, I wish they would have put it in the guidebook, or at least some sort of guide as to where I could find that information. Now, if I can't speak for the bigger one, I don't know if it's in that one or not, but in this small one, it's definitely not in there. Okay, so let's shuffle and look at the guidebook. Okay, so we've got the Two of Pentacles. I will say that when I was putting these cards back in order, some of the cards ended up in the wrong pile. Like Temperance totally ended up in the cups pile because I couldn't see a title and she had cups. So that's an issue as well. Now, this is a Los Scarabeo guidebook. If you're not familiar with Los Scarabeo, they do produce their guidebooks in several different languages. This one comes in, see if it says, okay, there are the flags for the languages that it comes in. Now, I did take a peek through some of the other languages. The English goes to page 52. The other languages doesn't have anywhere near as much description of the cards. So if you are reading in these other languages, please be aware of that. You are not getting as much description of the cards as you would um, in English. So there's that. Here is the Two of Pentacles if you want to read it. Okay. It says a fiery woman stands on the shoreline. She carefully balances two pentacles between her hands. An Ouroboros circles the discs in another lemniscate. Two yin yang symbols float to the right. Now, where are these? Oh, I see them. Okay. Boats float on the shoreline. One of them appears caught in a wave that tosses the ship up. Keywords: harmonious change, correspondences, Earth, Jupiter, Uranus, Capricorn. Upright, grow skills, find the balance, have focus, equilibrium. Reversed, too many tasks, rigid, others take you for granted, narrow-minded focus. So, I mean, it gives you a good amount of information there. I love that it describes what you see in the image. I wish it would tell you why we see, like it says, two yin yang symbols float to the right, but it doesn't say why. It doesn't say because this is a card about balance. We have the two yin yang symbols. And because this is a card about keeping things going between two things, balancing two things continuously, we have the lemniscate, right? Like, so it's it doesn't tell us why. It doesn't say because we have the ships in the background, um, talking about, like maybe there's like a rocky terrain, tumultuous water in the background to kind of tell us that it might be tough, but we can do it. That it doesn't say that. It just tells you what you're looking at, and then let you make your own connections, which I guess is great to make your own connections. But if you are curious about the symbolism, I think they half-assed it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like they told us what the symbolism was, but they didn't tell us why. And I think it would have been like a few more sentences maybe a few more words per entry would have been, a little bit better to just kind of tell us why they put these things there if they're going to talk about them, right? Other than that, I think that this guidebook is decent. I do appreciate them highlighting the symbolism that they want us to take a look at. I do appreciate that because sometimes they don't even do that. Sometimes these little Scarabeo guidebooks are a 1-2 punch of a fabulous guidebook. And sometimes they are just like this one, which is like decent. And some of them are just keywords. So you never know what you're going to get. But but this one is decent. It's decent. Like I said, it tells you what you see in the picture, which I appreciate. Um, so that's what you get for the minors, and for the majors, it also tells you, in addition to the correspondences, it also tells you a Hebrew letter. Um, and that's the only difference in the major from the major to the minor. And that is my review of the Heaven and Earth Tarot. I think this is a really beautiful deck. I'm glad that I have it and I use it. I use it a lot. I like the way it shuffles. I like the way it looks on my table. Like I said, it's calming images. They're beautiful. I wish it had some diversity, but it doesn't, and I've accepted that. I knew it when I bought it, which I think is why it took me so long to get it. But I always knew I wanted it. And I knew I was going to get it, but I wasn't going to pay full price for it. And that's why I waited for the sale. But I'm happy for it. For what I paid for it, I'm happy with it. It's another RWS clone for me. And I like it. So if you are looking for an RWS, style deck that's pretty and like kind of dreamy looking, without a whole lot of colors, if you like sort of like this muted tone. Also, it does have the astrological and planetary correspondences on the bottom, which is nice. And you can also kind of maybe look into what these keywords are. They could be helpful for your reading. So there's a lot to be taken from this deck. It's a good production. It's definitely a solid deck. What do you think about this deck if you have it? I know a lot of people out there have it because when it hit the scene, it hit the scene. I remember seeing this thing everywhere. Anyway, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe. If you have ideas of videos that you would like to see, like if you have seen anything on my channel that you would like for me to review, let me know. I'll try to put it on my list and I will try to get to it. All right. Until I see you next time, stay safe and be blessed. Bye.